Joining us now is Cece Hollywood, and Cece has brought two guests. Cece, who did you bring with us today?
And hello, Donna. It's so great to see you today. Yes, we start to say 你好.
你好.
Yes, because we have an amazing guest today, Terry Chu from Beijing, and he's a very, very renowned educator in China. And he also has his own Sai company, which is a really famous agency in China. He's been doing a lot of film festival. But in the past 4 years, he's been so dedicated to determine that he wants to make a curriculum that to really help Chinese kids to learn how to make a film from zero.
Wonderful. Terry, welcome to the show. Nice to have you here.
他说非常高兴今天能够来到节目现场。
你好，很高兴认识你，我带来北京的问候。
He said, "Welcome from Beijing to you. He's so happy to see you today."
Thank you very much. Filmmaking really does unite the world, correct, Cece?
Absolutely. 他说呢，这个电影的拍摄，它其实是真的嫁接起一个桥梁，就是东西方嫁接的一个桥梁。And you know what, Donna? It's an amazing thing. Is I feel like the filmmaking is about sharing the story. And no matter today where we are, and the most important is we're human beings. We have our experience and we want to share. And the storytelling is the most fascinating way that build that bridge. And that's what Terry dedicated his energy to do that.
Lovely. Yeah. And Terry, so we welcome you. We're so glad that you're here. And this is your book. You made this.
他说他非常高兴你来，然后他说这个就是你的书，对吧？
And so if I'm correct, this is how to start from beginning and through the whole entire process. So someone from middle school would learn how to make a film.
他说如果他没有理解错的话呢，这一本教材，他说是不是就是从零基础的这些孩子们，他们可以从零开始，然后一步一步学习，就真的学会怎么来创作一部电影。
Yeah. 这本书呢，它是从可以让没有任何电影基础的人从零学起，然后直至到完成自己的作品，完成自己的短片。
The amazing thing is this curriculum is different than all the curriculums you have seen.
Okay, it's
you know what
unique.
It is? So
it's unique
because this is actually not just to teach you from the the knowledge part, but actually the practice teach you from how to actually build from the scratch, nothing. To actually finish a project.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
非常祝贺你。
And we also, in the studio, you brought in another guest, Keith, right? Would you like to introduce Keith?
Absolutely. Wow, Keith. I cannot even introduce him because he's such a beautiful human being. And he's very successful because he's actually the Academy Award filmmaker. And then his documentary movie won the Academy Award for the best director. But then he spent like decades, in education. He also have a middle school with his wife and teaching kids movies and films and art. And that is that link between him and Terry. That's how we created this curriculum together.
Beautiful. Keith, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Where are you calling in from? Good to see you too. Where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling from El Dorado Hills, California, where I live, up in the Sierra foothills. Beautiful, beautiful day. I bet it's cold where you are, but it's 75 degrees outside, and I'm going to go play tennis when this is over.
Tell us about your journey, Keith. What made you get into filmmaking?
Well, I've always been interested in the arts. My father was an artist, and early on, I became fascinated by photography and storytelling. And it was just a natural evolution. I didn't really intend to become a professional filmmaker. I started out in medical school, but all my spare time was spent experimenting with films. And first thing you know, I won an Academy Award, and then the rest is history.
Congratulations. What was that moment like for you when you won that Academy Award?
Well, it's a little surrealistic, but the good news is that I have 8 children. And when I came home from Hollywood, I was feeling like I was really important. And my little daughter tugged on my knee and said that gold dog you brought home is really important, isn't it? And I said, yes. And then I realized for 3 days I'd hardly spoken to my children because I thought I was so important. And she said, do you love it? And I said, I do. I think I love it. And she said, you love it more than you love me? And then I realized I needed to keep Hollywood and golden trophies in perspective because it's about family, it's about, the important things. So that's the main takeaway from it. I got to kiss Raquel Welch. If you're old enough, you know who that is. But other than that,
I do indeed know who she is. Absolutely, yes, one of the greats. And we're here with Terry and Cece. How did you get a chance to meet them? How did you all start working together?
well,
Yes.
in 2000, Cece, perhaps you'd like to respond.
It's like interesting because that time I remember was Bill, because I think Bill told you about that curriculum. And interesting, that time I think Keith, you were the one bring the IMAX into China, if I remember right? And you did that IMAX project in China, so it actually has a very deep root history with the China communication, right?
Yes, I actually in 2011. I went to China with the hope of building a theater at the Great Wall, an IMAX theater, and creating a definitive film on the history of the Great Wall, which project we still believe in and hope will happen one day. And over the years that followed, I became very involved in China, doing seminars and other things to talk about bridging the gap between Chinese storytelling and Hollywood storytelling, and made a lot of wonderful friends. And it was in that context that I met Bill, and we actually began our conversation about a project which is still alive and in progress, hopefully. But that evolved into a friendship and this opportunity to work with Terry on the curriculum for middle school, and it's just been a great journey. I've loved it because I've made so many wonderful friends in China.
Absolutely, because I remember that was like 4 years now since the day one we started this curriculum. It's been a long journey, and Terry being spent a lot of time and effort to make it happen. And today, when we're holding this book in my hand, it really touches my hand, touches my heart. And Keith, can you share with us about, what's the biggest challenge when you create this curriculum? Because we know the Chinese kids, the education system in USA is quite different. I feel like the Chinese kids, they are more in that kind of, what you call it, like more like a collective, like what the teacher told you, what you do, what you don't do. And I feel American kids are much more free spirit. And what do you think when you're creating this curriculum? What's your experience?
Well, we were aware of that and tried to make an effort to find the middle ground, because we wanted a curriculum that would be compatible and acceptable to the Chinese educational system. At the same time, what's so critical about filmmaking is the individual vision and the individuality and the courage and the independence. And so the curriculum, in a subtle way, it talks about that, and part of the training is to trust their judgment, trust their creative intuitions, and to sort of individualize their project. So hopefully we found a delicate balance which will make the curriculum acceptable in the Chinese educational system, at the same time really inspire these aspiring young filmmakers to reach beyond themselves and kind of break out of that, out of the mold, out of the group.
Yes, absolutely, right, Donna?
Yes, and what would Terry suggest, like some of the early equipment be? Like what would someone need in order to begin?
当然说呢，那就是对于一个初学者，一个电影的初学者来说，那么他们在开始这一本书的时候，这本教材拿在手里的时候，他们有哪些需要准备的？就是这个准备工作，他们需要做什么？
我认为他可能不需要做很多的准备，那么他可能喜欢去拍摄，喜欢有一些想法，把自己的想法转变成我们可以看得见的视频，那么他有这个想法就好，他就可以开始。
The interesting thing is it doesn't require a lot,
Okay.
but they do require that one. The most important is you are interested. Because when you're interested, then your creativity starts kicking on, and then you can start telling a story. And that's how curriculum help you, because you have idea, but how to execute that idea into actually become a product. It's actually become a film, like you can share with, not necessarily means you will have to or become like a kid one day holding an Oscar, but at least we all want to share the stories with our friends, with our loved one. But this curriculum is teaching you how to from zero and step by step into a finished product.
I think it's so important, and I love the fact that we were all able to kind of even create this today. This is the first time that my television show has had one person calling in, two people on the set with a host all at the same time. And that's kind of the magic of what this is movie making or storytelling or just taking the technology and trying to push it just a little bit further.
You know what, Donna, you just mentioned something really, really important, and that's what I want to ask Keith too. So Keith, and like right now, the technology, you mentioned that's the only reason today we are able to sitting in the studio. And when Keith is not here, but we be able to communicate so well is because technology. And we all know right now the technology is really involved a lot. But what do you think, Keith? What do you think of the technology, like the AI technology, all those technology, what do you think that has impact into the filmmaking industry for the younger kids?
Do we have 2 hours, or do we have a few minutes? It's been a tremendous impact. I'd just like to make one comment, Donna, back to your other question. In terms of equipment, it's miraculous today because all of the tools to make a feature film are accessible to every consumer. I mean, basically, it's an iPhone right now, the iPhone 16 Pro and a Mac computer. You can make a feature film. And when I began, the access was extremely difficult because of the technology. And so Sissy's exactly right. The technology has revolutionized the motion picture industry, not only in terms of what goes on the screen, in terms of visual effects and now AI, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but because of the access to the process. And I hope that Terry's helps them understand that the goal is not to win an Academy Award necessarily, wonderful if they do, or even become a notable filmmaker, a full-time profession, but rather have the opportunity to express themselves, to tell stories, to communicate ideas that are valuable. And now they can do that with the internet and with all the platforms and all the opportunities. So it's to me, that's the biggest advance in technology, is the access to motion picture making to everybody. Now, in terms of the big budget movies, the Hollywood movies, the kind of movies that we do, obviously visual effects have been around for quite a while, digital visual effects, beginning really with George Lucas. He was a friend of mine, and I did some projects not with him, but at his studio years ago. But the AI now is it's a question that's impossible to answer because it's too early. AI is already creating some startling visuals, video visuals, and certainly augmenting writing and other things. And there's a huge debate going on. I think that AI technology, like every technology, has an opportunity for good and an opportunity for evil, for progress and for falling backward. So I'm hoping that we'll be wise in applying AI in a positive way, but it's certainly going to revolutionize again, another technological leap forward. But again, to me, the biggest opportunity and the biggest change in technology is now every kid who can pick up a phone can make a movie. And I think that's wonderful.
I would agree 100%. I feel that it's all about being able to express ourselves, to express our ideas in any way that we possibly can, and making it accessible. But also, it's kind of both of you, Terry, in actually imparting, if you will, some of the knowledge and all of the techniques and the information that you have, that it's taking you and Keith a very long time. You know, it might, when they say Picasso, yes, Picasso can paint, right? You know, and why does one stroke, you know, make something so valuable in art, right? It's because of the years of knowledge. And I think it's so generous of spirit for you and for Keith and for everyone to share that technology and that knowledge, because we all start somewhere. Everybody that has accomplished anything in life first starts with taking an action, and this allows them to have the confidence to do so. So it's wonderful what you made.
Absolutely， 因为Donna说她觉得你跟 Keith 很棒的一点是你们能够把一个想法然后付诸到实施，因为其实我们都知道这个千里之行始于足下，对吧？一定是要从一个起点开始。
对。
而且因为今天的这些科技呢，它允许我们能够就是通过一部手机，我们就可以开始向这个世界传输你的观念，传输你的这样的一个就是想法，然后讲一个故事。所以这些都是科技带给我们的一个改变。但是你们是带给这些改变的背后的这些非常辛勤工作的，然后这样的一个英雄，他觉得很棒。
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. You are welcome. So thank you to you and to Keith and to CC Hollywood. We wish you all the best and happy journeys. I hope when I'm out in California, I get a chance to meet you in person, Keith. But I thank you sincerely for being part of our show today and for bringing your wonderful book to life.
Thank you so much, Keith.
Okay.
Loved it.
Happy journeys, everyone.
Happy holidays. Yeah. See you. Can we say goodbye in Chinese?
Yes, please say goodbye in Chinese. I know ni hao. Teach me.
再见。
What is it?
再见。
再见。
Tai Chian?
再见。
Tai?
Z-A-I. 再见。
Zai Chen.
再见。
Zai Chen.
再见。
And I'm sure Keith already knows that. Zai Chen. Thank you, everyone. Be well. Mwah.
谢谢。
Goodbye. Well, we hope you enjoyed that segment, no matter where you are in the world. We're trying to bring goodness to life in a universal energy with a universal love all around the world. Thanks for watching. It's all among the stars. Joining us now is Courtni Starheart. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Fabulous. Thank you for having me.
I met you in real life. Sometimes I only meet somebody for the first time in the 3D world, like when they're here on set. But we actually met in the 3D world first, right? And I was like, who are you? You're so fascinating. You have such great energy. And then later found out that you are Courtni Starheart. So no wonder you have all this fabulous energy. And today I said to you, what is this? And you said, well, this is the story. Do you realize that since we're such new friends, I didn't even know that you had this book?
Wow.
Until this moment. So I'm excited by this. You actually have a book about your journey.
I do. I got very sick when my children were tiny, and you're a mother, so of course people understand that desire to live. Children make you able to do things that would be hard otherwise.
A lot of times.
Like
They
the
can
mother
help you
lifting
lift
the
a bus.
car.
Yes, exactly, right?
Right. And so when Western medicine couldn't figure out what was wrong with me and I was dying, I went back to my native roots and I started exploring the place of miracles because I had to learn how to pray for a miracle. Natives call it rainmaking.
Okay.
So that's why the book is called Rainmaking.
Rainmaking, dreaming a new world while dying.
Sounds
Okay.
kind of grim, doesn't it?
No,
but it's actually really great.
Hey, you got to do whatever it is that makes it work, right? Well, even for myself, I work with prayer. I also have Native American roots, as we had talked about. I only maybe have 2%. It's very long ago. But I did have these nice items from my grandfather that he had passed down. And that's kind of how I connected. But you always knew of your roots, correct?
I did. In Native, kind of like Jewish traditions, it's matrilineal.
Okay.
So if your mother's mother is Native, you're Native.
Okay.
The house is run Native and all of the customs are still there. The conquest did kind of a number on a lot of tribes, as a lot of people know nowadays. So it erased a lot of our memories of how we did things before the conquest. And I felt really passionate after I was healed and I learned this technology from a Native medicine man. I felt really passionate about sharing it with the world.
Okay. And that's what you're doing.
And that's exactly what I'm doing, except in a modern format that anybody can get.
Okay, so how does it work with you? What is your company all about? Because I know you're bringing goodness and wellness around the world. So tell us how it works.
I'm in the modern mainstream world, I am a productivity and holistic health trainer.
Okay.
Which means I can go into a business or work with individuals and boost their productivity with simple hacks.
Okay. Simple little things, tricks and tools that they could learn and do at home.
Things that are hidden in plain sight, like the breath.
Okay. Oh, we were talking one time we worked together and we were doing the box breath. It's almost like the box step of dancing, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. It's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and hold, and 1, 2.
Exactly.
So you know what? Let's just do that really quick. Let's just do a quick little box breath.
love
You ready?
that.
Okay, here we go.
So left hand goes on the heart so you can feel your heart, and the right hand goes on the abdomen, and you fill your lungs completely. So
Okay,
inhale
here we
through
go.
the nose to 4, and hold to 4. Exhale to 4. And again, hold to 4. And with 10 cycles of that simple breath work, you've completely taken control of something really mysterious, which is the autonomic nervous system. If you're not running it, it's running you. And it's usually running you with subconscious programs, which is not always great. We all have trauma, we all have programs. And so, you know, that's another subject, getting rid of limiting beliefs. But the way to kick open the door to the subconscious, as Dispenza says, is through the breath.
Through the breath. And we just did that. And if we did that 10 times, you know, the part that I have trouble with is the part that when we exhale and we have to hold for 4, I'm good with the holding for 4 when I'm full of breath.
I know.
Courtney, it's on the exhale that I'm like, okay, wait, am I gasping? Am I going to gasp for breath? But it's only 4 seconds, right?
Right. Yeah, but that's the part where we officially take charge of our vehicle. When we say, no, you can't just breathe anytime you want.
Right.
I'm teaching you, showing you how to breathe, right?
Okay, got it.
And you get more and more used to it all the time. So if we do this a couple of minutes each hour, is what I tell my clients, it'll become like a habit. It'll feel natural to be in that brainwave state that's made by that breath work.
I
Does that make
remember
sense?
being pregnant and doing Kegels, right?
Oh my God.
So it's similar. So if you want to have this wellness of health, you're just going to do these box breaths every hour?
Yeah, 2 minutes every hour.
Oh, 2 minutes. Okay, so it's fine. I think I can afford 2 minutes in the hour. Now tell me about this. What is this piece of equipment here?
Oh, this is my favorite thing.
Okay.
It says right here, I love heart math. Okay.
I love heart math. Okay.
Heart Math is an institute that's been doing research for 20, 30 years. And what I've done is I've paired this breath work with the data that you get from this.
Okay.
So especially with corporate clients, they love this one. This is
They
the
do.
new
Corporate
one.
clients love the data analysis. Me, I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever, la la la.
Yeah, like we're willing to accept if I feel better that it's working.
Exactly, that's proof enough for me. Okay.
When
but
you
they
see
want
the
the data. Okay.
it's mind-boggling. So this one here, we clip on to the ear, and this measures our brain waves. This one goes.
That measures your brain waves when you clip that clip on your ear?
Yes. Yeah. And then this one measures the heart rate.
Okay.
And when you're in brain heart coherence, you drop into the state of wild power. I mean, mental focus times 1,000. Quantum consciousness when you get really good at it.
Okay.
And so what I've done is I've already taught you how to do the type of breath work that'll get you there. So for people like us, you can just do the breath work. But for corporate, for HR and wellness, it's really important to have the data.
Right.
So when you're in that brainwave state, then stress, anxiety, depression drops by 30, 40, 50%. Productivity, focus, and connection skyrocket. 30, 40, 50%.
Speaking of focus, we both love that word because that was my TEDx talk. So focus for me is figuring out your consistent, unique strengths, right? And that's what I go out and speak about to corporations and things. And I noticed that on your social media post the other day, and it said the word focus all in caps. And I was like, yay, go Courtney. Because it means it matters to you as well, right?
It does.
Okay.
Well, so what's happening right now in the world is there are just mad distractions everywhere. We know that, right? But a study was done that shows that there's $650 billion being lost in the office place in America. That's a ton of money, right? That if you stack that up in pennies, you could get to the moon, back, and halfway back again, just as a frame of reference.
Okay.
So when I looked at the reason why those distractions are taking place, there are 3 things. Do you want to try to guess? I know that's terrible. But if you
Make
had to
me look
guess,
as unintelligent as possible. Let me just hide behind my mug, Courtney.
I didn't mean to put you on
No,
the
okay,
spot.
no, it's okay.
I'm
So
just
what do I
playing.
think, what do I feel makes people unproductive at work?
Yeah, what would you guess?
Obviously your cell phone.
Okay,
right?
that's
social
number three,
media.
believe it or
Social
not.
media is number 3. Oh, so if we were playing Family Feud, I only got like the third one, buzz, and then it would go to the other team.
Let's
okay,
go to the
give me
bonus
the
round.
other 2.
The other 2 are emotional distractions,
Okay.
emotional dysregulation, and email. But the number 1 is emotional dysregulation. Yeah, people are stressed out, they're anxious, they're shallow breathing, they're worried all the time. And what makes it even worse, what makes it spike, is when someone's unkind to you.
And that happens in the workplace.
Do it.
There are some nasty
On
Nellies
accident.
in the workplace. There are.
Let's say people do it on accident. And
Oh,
so
you
that's
want
part
you're
of
kinder to say that they do it on accident, because sometimes I think, girlfriend, people are trying to throw people under the bus.
I
I'm
do
just saying
think
they are.
there is a crab barrel syndrome where people might not want each other to be as successful as possible.
Okay.
Right?
And that could
Competition.
happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we're
Subliminally.
stressed, see, we could just do this all the time. This is how we roll. So the idea, though, is through box breathing, we can control all of that. We can control our mind and our breathing and our stress level, get into a place of relaxation and zen, and that's going to help us be more productive.
Yes, it gets us out of the amygdala.
Okay.
The amygdala runs the autonomic functions in the body. And so when you take charge of the breath, you take charge of the amygdala. And you experience a sense of being more connected, more empathy and compassion. And that's what we train people in. That's step number 1. There's step number 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to be getting into with our show here. I'm so excited.
Are you
I
announcing it
ran it
here?
by the team and it's
And they
off
said
to
yes?
big yes. Everyone's thrilled. I can't wait.
So what my audience doesn't know is that last night in our phone conversation, I said, well, Courtney, yes, it would be great to have you as a wellness correspondent on my show once a month, but how cool would it be if you had your own show? So are you saying yes? You're saying yes to the dress?
1,000% yes to the magic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will be producing your show here at Drake Media Studios. I think it's a fabulous idea because I think that the topic is so important. I think that you have so much richness to you and to your spirit, and you know so many cool people. So I'm glad you're going to have your own show.
Yeah, and it'll be great because we can bring people on at a local level that's more accessible, and we can do quick little spots so that they get their message out there, and I get to meet people.
Makes me happy that you said yes. So your team said yes. And what is that you're holding in your hand right now?
Well, this is the modern remnant of the 4 keys, right? So my
Okay.
system is called 4 Keys to Focus.
Right.
Finding the force, right? So when I was sick and dying, I ended up sitting with a bunch of medicine people and spiritual guides from around the world, kung fu masters. It was incredible. And they all had the same system. And a lot of them called it the medicine wheel. If you're native, like if you're Cherokee or Pueblo like us, then you call it the medicine wheel. I said, what are these people doing with this all over the world? Well, so it turns out that it's a system of balance, and it pertains to the actual carbon molecule. Everything in the physical plane is made up of this form. And when you can balance
I keep saying
things,
that. I'm surprised today. What? Okay, so when you can keep things in balance.
yeah, between these aspects of yourself, you know, people, I call it the axis of meaning and habit. So you have to have a vision, or you're not really in alignment, right?
Okay.
Then you have to void out, get rid of the things that are blocking you, right? So maybe you void out an hour of your cell phone time and you do exercise instead, whatever. But then the habit, you have to install this habit. It has to be a meaningful habit. And when you align those things in that way, it's like this magical force opens up. And that's why I call it finding the force.
Got it.
Human beings are
Yes.
magical
They are magical.
at our best, and we're horrible at our worst. And we've got to turn that corner in our society now.
Okay, and a good first step would be to go to your website to learn more, right?
100%. I made a class just for you guys. It's DIY, it's financially accessible, and you can do it at home. Each class is only like 5 minutes. It teaches you all 4 steps.
All 4 steps. Lovely. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
Courtni
having
Starheart.
me.
I'm so glad you said yes to me when I came up with this idea for you to have your own show. Makes me happy.
I feel like the doors to heaven have opened up, and God bless you for all the good things you do in the world.
You are welcome. I just try. I'm only the conduit. The ideas come, and I'm like the conduit. So thank you very much. There you go. And say yes to yourself today. Whatever you're doing, try the box step breath, right? And go to Courtni's website for more information. And thank you again for being in my audience. I truly value you and appreciate you more than you could ever know. Thank you.
Ronnie Barber here. After 16 years in the NFL, I've discovered the secret to maintaining optimal health. It's as simple as Boom Chaga's Super Drink, empowering you to bring your A game all day long and enjoy a host of healthy benefits. Boom Chaga is proprietary, 100% natural extract from chaga mushrooms loaded with anti-inflammatory, immune-boosting antioxidants, and heart-healthy compounds. The best part is the convenience. Just rip open a packet and add the liquid to any beverage you like every day. Use code 15BARBER for 15% off at boomchagadrinks.com.
Joining us now is Tara Janine Garcia. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Donna. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm really excited to have you here because you know a lot about something that sadly a lot of people don't really know anything about. So tell us about your connection with your grandmother and all about this battalion that most people don't really know about, sadly, and that we are going to change today, Tara. You and I are going to change it today.
Well, there are two sort of sides to this story, right? Because growing up, I've always known that my grandmother was an Army veteran. She was a very proud veteran. We'd walk into her apartment and there was a picture of her in her Army uniform. There's a picture of my grandfather, her husband, in his Army uniform. There were American flags everywhere. We were a very patriotic family. But she never talked about her service, ever. And then you fast forward and top of COVID, she was about to turn 100, and she was in an assisted living facility. And we didn't have access to her. No one could get in, no one could get out. And she had contracted COVID. And I had turned to Instagram and asked everyone for their prayers, because prior to that, we were planning a small gathering, a party for her. She was turning 100. I posted a picture of her in her Army uniform, and an incredible woman by the name of Edna Cummings saw my posting because it's a series of events, but Edna Cummings then contacted me. She DM'd me on Instagram and she says, could you do me a favor? She says, I saw this posting about your grandmother. I understand that she served in World War II. I'd like to cross-check something with you, and I'd like to cross-check her dog tag number, because I believe that she is a member of the 6888. I didn't know this number of this battalion. I'd never heard of it before. She never talked about the unit that she served in. And the reason that's important is because the 6888 has a monument dedicated to them in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. So now I find out that my grandmother's name is on a monument in Kansas in Buffalo Soldier Park. And I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here? And I said, well, what is this unit? What did they do? And Edna goes on to explain that, there were 17 million pieces of mail and one united mission. And essentially, this is a unit that was enlisted in the service during World War II. And there was a backlog of mail that was never reaching servicemen. And a unit was put together to go ahead and take this horrible, daunting task, and to see if there was any way that this mail could actually get to the servicemen. Their motto was no mail, low morale. And so she was a part of this unit. The story is larger than this. Her part in this actual unit is very different, as she had some prior training as a medic. She had been training to hopefully be a nurse one day at Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx, prior to the war breaking out. And so they understood sort of that she had that training. And so when she got to Europe, they understood sort of like what her background was. And then they took her, they sent her to Whitchurch, England, and she was helping burn unit victims, sort of like triage with nurses, and helping them in their care. So she actually wasn't dealing with the mail at all.
So Tara, was there a connection with that particular place with Kansas? Was it just a central location?
The monument is in Buffalo Soldier Park. So
Okay.
apparently it's Buffalo Soldier Park is there's several monuments there to African American uh, people who have served in the war or in any war. So there is a monument there to Colin Powell. There is a monument there to the Buffalo Soldiers. I haven't been yet because just haven't made my way to Kansas. There's been a lot going on since I've learned all of this.
Yeah, how exciting. Do you know how many members of that battalion there were? About how many?
855.
850.
850.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
So there was a backlog of mail, and there were warehouses upon warehouses upon warehouses of stacked mail from bottom from the floor to the ceiling. And think about it, right? You are a soldier's mom and you're sending a care package home to your soldier, which typically consisted of, sometimes it was a letter, but sometimes it was, I don't know, cookies or a fruitcake from home, their favorite baked good or what have you. And so, or a pair of socks or a sock, because sometimes they were limited in the size of the packages. And so, so these packages were just piling up because there was no mail system in place to get these pieces of mail to these soldiers. So we're talking about several warehouses of backed up mail. So
Okay.
the 6888 went in and organized and created a system. Mind you, some of these packages only had a first name. And they had to figure out how to get Bobby or William's mail to him, and reminding everyone also too that like these are not static units. You know, these are soldiers that are running around, moving from infantry place from place to place throughout the war, and so matching the mail to the actual soldier was no small feat. They thought it was going to take 6 to 9 months. They did it in 3.
And now there's going to be a special presentation. I believe it's on one of the major OTT networks where they're going to be doing some sort of story or documentary. Is that correct?
So there is a movie now that is airing on Netflix. It went into theaters on December 6th, and it's available now for streaming on December 20th. The director is Tyler Perry. It stars Kerry Washington, among other people. Oprah Winfrey has a cameo in it as well. And you'll be able to stream it as of December 20th. I myself haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to special screening this Saturday finally to be able to see it. So yes, everyone will be able to see exactly what everyone has been talking about in real time, and I think he does a beautiful job in showing exactly what the battalion was about.
And now that this has come to light for you, now that some of this information about your grandmother has come to light, do you think that anyone might have had an inkling about it? Like maybe some sort of idea about what she might have been involved in when she was there? Or do you think it was
Oh,
completely top secret?
It's the thing is their service wasn't top secret. I think this is more akin to, and as most people who actually serve in a time of war, once service men and women come back, you'll find that, especially in the greatest generation, they served, they answered the call to service, and they did so because it was, and they saw it as an obligation and service to their country. It's not something that they owned bragging rights to. And so it's not something that they discussed. They saw a lot while they were there, endured quite a bit while they were there. This unit in particular is an all Black and brown unit, and they bore the scourge of racism in many different ways while they were there. And so there's a lot that they endured. And I would beg to say, and again, in speaking to my father, his sister, my aunt, they did not know the extent of her service. They didn't know the details of her service. All of this came to light for them in the same way in real time that it did for me. And so yeah, she just didn't talk about it.
Of the survivors, of the descendants, what is it that you're
Mhm.
trying to do now? Because now that you have this information, how are you trying to make a difference in the world with this?
Well, sadly, there are only two left of the entire unit that are still with us today. Look, my grandmother got to enjoy some of the accolades while she was still with us. She passed away about a year and a half ago. But there's a couple of things here, right? I think it's about the bravery of these women, the fact that women of color played a huge integral role in World War II, that they showed up for a country that didn't necessarily show up for them afterwards. I think is important to highlight, but just their mere existence in the war at all, I think is really important, because of the efforts of Edna Cummings and a lot of key humans. They were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, which has been awarded to very few people. George Washington was the first, and so they are heroes in many, many ways. And so, for any woman, woman who has a dream, woman of color who has a dream, woman who is looking to serve, I think that these women are incredible role models. And just think I don't want their story to be lost. I just want it to be told and to be shared.
Well, as you had mentioned, obviously your grandmother loved her country. She was very proud of her service. She celebrated it every day. She knew who she was at the core of her being. She was a devoted woman, devoted to her family. She made a difference in the lives of many people, and her legacy lives on. So I'm happy for you that she is the champion that she was for many people, and that in particular, she was a champion for your father. She's a champion for you, and her legacy lives on. So it's a heart, it's very touching. So it was lovely to visit with you today. And so what you're hoping to do is you're hoping to kind of gather around, I guess, some support for this unit and for the people and the descendants, and just to keep their memory alive for others, right? And to set them up as a good role model for people in future generations that want to serve their country well.
Absolutely. And there's a scholarship fund for the 6888. If anyone, 'tis the season of giving, if anyone wishes to donate to the scholarship effort, that would be fantastic as well. But yes, if anything, please watch the movie that's coming up. I think it's interesting. Tell the story. History is something that for all of us to learn from, and just share their incredible efforts, because I think that way it wasn't in vain. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
absolutely not. I think that, generations upon generations, of people that actually were able to get their mail to a loved one, I'm sure those are mementos that are still in treasured boxes. So, or at least maybe hanging on a wall. So you never know, a piece of history that your grandmother was involved in, right, could very, very easily be a cherished memento from someone that means something so dear to someone. So you're awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us. It was lovely to visit
Nice
with you
to meet
today. Like you
you.
said, it's the holiday season, and we're all here together to just celebrate one another. So I thank you so much for your time. It was nice to meet you. Okay,
Likewise. Thank you so much, Donna. Be
you're
well.
welcome. Be well. Bye bye. Joining us now are Craig and Randy, and we're going to be talking about podcasting. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having us, Donna.
Good. Who was the first to pod? Craig, were you a podder, or was Randy a podder first?
Surprisingly,
Yes.
we started at the exact same time.
He was the first videotaper.
Correct.
But together we potted.
You
I never used that word before.
We
potted.
potted
You
together.
potted together.
It's kind of like
Your show is about business, right?
It is.
You both are entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Yes.
And so what is it about your show that you feel the audience needs to know?
So really what transpired was I do many commercials on WBAB radio, and I was having lunch with them, and they were saying, what would you see yourself doing? And I said, there's so many small businesses out there that have incredible stories that never have the opportunity to share those stories. So I said to Craig, I would love to put something together with him because he's that an entrepreneur can come on at any stage in their career and share their journey. And hopefully that journey inspires somebody who's listening. And another side effect is maybe a consumer's listening to that story and that makes them change their decision from going from, I don't know, a national brand to a small guy who's struggling and working hard every day.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. I like that very much. So it's both a podcast, but it's also a radio broadcast show.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the hybrid, Craig? Tell me about that platform.
So we broadcast on all, your Apple, your iHeart radios and whatnot, but the extra trend is that people love reels, the quick informations, and we post those on a weekly basis with the businesses that we're doing to give them a little bit of excitement,
a shot of adrenaline in the arm of marketing.
Yeah.
I like that. I think when I moved to Long Island, I wasn't aware of two things: how many independent business owners there were and how many nonprofits there are.
Incredible.
Long Island is like kind of, if you're not working for one of the big employers that employ like 90,000 of us, right? One of the hospital systems, right? Chances are, right, you're owning your own business.
You're starting something or you're in the middle of it. And you talk about charities in Long Island. We've interviewed some incredible people.
Cans for Cancer was a very good one. But the ones it's like you're finding out. I would have never known about them prior to. So it's really enlightening.
Right, and we just interviewed somebody, Long Island contractors, and what they do is they find vets throughout the state that are having issues, their houses, maybe their roof, and they don't have the finances. Contractors chip in together and do the work. Amazing people we've met.
So it's uplifting, good stories.
And motivating.
And motivating. Is it hard to put together a podcast? I mean, sometimes people are now doing it with two phones. I have a whole entire podcasting studio here. I'm sure where you're recording, it's a whole entire studio. But what is it about podcasting if they just want to take one quick step into the market?
My first advice would be have a strategy, have a direction, have a storyline.
Okay.
I find a lot of podcasts, Craig and I say, after I finish listening to him, there's nothing.
Yeah,
what did I just listen to?
It was like Seinfeld.
Yeah,
it's a show about nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, our goal was to do something that wasn't about nothing, that was about something that you can have a good time, laugh in the morning. It's on very early in the morning.
Okay.
6:30 on Sunday mornings. But our listenership is up to 1,000 on BAB.
Congrats.
Which is awesome.
That's really great.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yes.
When we got our first call from somebody who heard us on the radio, they called me up and said, I want to be on the show. I said, Craig, there's 3 of us listening.
There's 3 of us listening now. Yeah.
It's a big 3. I remember when I first started my TV show, it was 17 years ago, and I was at the Huntington Hilton, and somebody came up to me and they said, I watched your show. I forgot that people actually would be watching.
Watching the show.
I had it just didn't dawn on me about the part of doing it. Got it. And all of a sudden I said, you watch my show? And they're like, oh yeah, we watched the peppermint patty chicken that you did.
Right.
I said, you watched the show.
Somebody watched it.
I knew that they watched it because
they knew that.
they referenced it. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious, people watch my show, right?
Yeah, and the fact that that it lives on YouTube and whatnot is that you don't have to necessarily be up at 6:30. You can find it randomly and just start binging all of them.
Correct. Yeah, and so it's nice to have.
You were a big motivator to us.
I was.
Yeah,
oh, that's really kind.
Many, we do a lot of trade shows together, and you're always a big personality at those trade shows. And I always feel that you've always had a warm heart for Long Islanders and Long Island business people. And I know that you've grown your business, which is fantastic. And so you were an inspiration to what we're trying to accomplish.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. I say that I'm a grown-up cheerleader for brands, people, and causes.
You are.
Right? Yeah. So as a cheerleader in high school, I don't think anything really has changed. I'm like a big rah-rah. And I see that you like to celebrate things too. I see you with this. Tell us about that, Craig, because that's fun.
It's fun.
So I like for people to remember me,
Yes.
but I like to show appreciation for the businesses that I work with. As everyone does know, I am the undisputed cinematography champion of the world. But I like to pay homage to the businesses that make me that and think differently. The BABs and the Adventurelands, and I get to
Oh, that's
represent
so
them.
cool.
That's great.
I
Constantly.
remember when you got the Adventureland client. I thought it was
yeah.
so phenomenal.
It's like pinching yourself.
Yeah,
It's like, wow.
that's a big get.
And they were on our show.
Yeah.
Jeannie was on our show. It was
Wow.
fantastic, and we had such a good time with her.
And we're taking to the follow-up video now.
Well, then we started doing these follow-ups. So we went back there, and the things that we spoke about, not everything, but a lot of the things that we covered on the show, we did at the park, and we had a blast. And that'll be going out there too. And it's another way for businesses to grow their listenership and business. So it's another thing that B2B is offering.
You're going out to the Adventureland, which is our local amusement park, and you're having fun.
Right.
Well, I thank you both for being here. It's lovely to celebrate you and to just talk about podcasting. I tried to do a podcast many, many, many years ago. I was a little ahead of my time,
Right.
And now it seems like it's all the rage.
The
So.
queen of podcast.
The queen of
Oh
podcasting.
yeah, no, I'm just the queen of this desk.
No, I heard that in China. You're like the newest thing.
No, it's true.
I heard you taking over China.
No, it's true. It sounds so funny, and I'm a little embarrassed to say so, but I have some very dear friends, and one of our correspondents, Cece Hollywood, who does a segment on my show I've known for a couple of years, wonderful person, does lifestyle correspondent. She was kind enough to reverse the favor and
awesome.
help bring my brand there. And I have had some fans now from there, and it's kind of
Of course.
funny.
That's awesome. Well,
You know?
I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
I don't have what Cece Hollywood
Yes,
has,
yes.
but I like to invite you to be on B2B with Craig, so you could tell your journey
I would
and
love
maybe
to.
inspire somebody and all that stuff. I'd love to have you on.
Thank you so much. I'm going to say yes to you.
Awesome.
I'm going to say yes. Thank you so much. Well, there you go. It's just people doing good things and taking action in their journey. Thank you for watching. I'm Donna Drake, and I'm wishing you all the best. Joining us now is Olive Green. Hello, Olive. How are you?
I am doing great today, Donna. How are you?
Wonderful. We got a chance to talk on the phone the other day. How have you been, and what's happening in your journey?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here. Well, my journey started about 34 years ago. I discovered I had some skin challenges that the medical community was a little bit confused by, and it's a condition that about 1 in 100 people have called hidradenitis suppurativa. And so I decided to become an esthetician so that I could treat that for people. But the only real treatment I have discovered is a skincare regimen. And so All of You Skincare was born.
So it's Olive, which is your name, and then the word you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Skincare. So Olive You Skin, tell me when you were discovering and trying all these different products, what was the moment that you felt like, oh, eureka, I've got it now?
Well, I was scrolling social media one night and came across a link for another skincare company called Hygienist. And I tried their products and they worked really well, but they still needed just a little bit of a push to help me with my particular skin issues. And so when I found the 12% sulfur overnight spot treatment and discovered how well it worked along with the Hygienist, I knew that I had to offer both to everyone that I possibly can.
Understood. And so now, what is your day job? You said you're doing other types of work also.
I am an aesthetics educator at Evergreen Beauty School in Everett, Washington, near Seattle.
Lovely. And as I shared with you, I'm so excited to have you from Seattle because Seattle is one of our new markets. We've had some people traveling to us. We've had people like yourself, some brands calling in. And Seattle is more picturesque than I ever knew. It's absolutely a gorgeous part of the country with the waterways and the elevations. And have you lived near that area long?
We've lived here about 14 or 15 years. We moved up here from Texas, and I was so excited to see all the seasons up here. They're just so incredibly beautiful. I can't get over it.
Yeah, they absolutely are quite lovely. So now, what are some of the key ingredients in your products?
Well, we have lilac stem cells, which are in the chamomile facial cleanser and the sea stem. Apologies. In my age reverse system, I can't see it very
Oh,
there
that's
we go.
okay. I can see
In my
it.
age reverse system, in the cleanser, we have chamomile essential oils. In the C-Stem serum, I have lilac stem cells. And then I have an Ultra Benefits moisturizer that deeply moisturizes all night long. And then the overnight spot treatment has 12% sulfur, which is incredibly effective at preventing bacterial infections and for reducing inflammation.
Now, you had named the type of the syndrome that you have before, or the skin condition, but you said it fast, and that's because you're comfortable with it and you know it well. But it was the first time I heard the term. So could you repeat that for me one more time? What is that again?
Sure, it's called hidradenitis suppurativa.
Okay, and what does that actually mean?
It is an autoinflammatory illness of the hair follicles. And when people get it, their hair follicles become inflamed, and then that spreads in tunnels, and it can be quite painful and cause abscesses on the skin. It's extremely painful. And
Okay.
my mission is to help alleviate that as much as possible. While the doctors work from the inside, I want to work from the outside.
Understood. I thank you for explaining that to me with a little more detail. And I'm
Sure.
wishing you a very happy and joyous season. So it's the website again, it's just All of You Skin, correct?
Yes, it is allofyouskin.com. And for everyone who is watching, if you visit now, we have a special coupon code for you. Just enter Drake Glows at checkout for a 25% off your entire order.
Well, that's very kind of you. And we usually don't have clients do that because I don't want anyone at home to think that I'm getting some sort of kickback or something from having you on. But I just wanted to have you on because I liked you on the phone and I thought you're a very kind, wonderful, nice person that, trying to make a difference in the world. So thank you, Olive, for joining us. And we thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Donna, and y'all have a wonderful day.
You too. Happy journeys. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
There you go. That's Sweet Olive, and she is from the Seattle area. Lovely woman. And if you are someone that's also suffering from anything and you can come up with a solution, I'm sure you're not alone. There's other people that also need your help. Thanks for watching. Ooh la la. That's right. I found out through my DNA that I'm actually part French, not just Italian. I'm many things, but I'm also French. I've never been to France, but now you could come with us because we are going there in February of 2026 through Colette Tours. We're going to be going to Carnival. We're going to be filming the show in France. It's going to be so much fun. So please, if you could join us for the French Riviera and a little bonus trip to Paris, now's your chance to join us. Please sign up.
This is Donna Drake. Happy journeys!
Take my hand, come with me, and we'll find better ways to be something much more. Live it up, live it up, live it up now. Live it up now.
Thanks for watching Live It Up. You can visit us at liveituptvshow.com.